Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Who are you? This is your host, Dr. Leah. Welcome. It is the Thursday that is always magical. And I know, yes, I'm loving my new look. Welcome all. Tell us where you're coming from. Tell us where you're watching from because today we are in Michigan and we are going to meet a very powerful Queen. Erica Lynn is her name. I am just so amazed by her story. She is a powerful lady. She's a powerful queen. She's got a story that will shaken you, will awaken you, will bring out something that is inside you that has been been bathing inside you. She will bring it up with her story, with her challenges. She will teach us the 7 techniques of healing because she went through them. She learned from that, and she implemented that, and she is teaching other people who have gone through the same situation like her to use the 7 techniques of healing so that they can be the best version of themselves and they can achieve their purpose. So we will not take a lot of time because I know that she has a lot, and I don't want anybody to miss anything because you all deserve the best. As the show is Who Are You? We love to bring people who impact your lives, people who will bring change, people who will teach you how to change your life, how to live the best of your life because they've been there, they've gone through the process and they've seen and experienced what the process is all about and how it feels for them when they were there and for them right now where they are. So with due diligence, I'll just bring Queen Erica up. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for such a gracious introduction. I was like, oh, I feel empowered just by the introduction.
You are an empowerment lady. You are. I mean, like I said, when I saw your story, I was so amazed. I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, I love this kind of stories and I love to hear this kind of stories and to bring it out to many people because, people go through this situation and sometimes people think, oh, it's the same old story, but it isn't. It is something that refreshes. It is something that, enables you to grow. It is something that builds you in, and you will definitely get something different because as much as it can look like a similar story, but there is different technique, and yours are 7 techniques of healing. So tell us, who are you? Introduce yourself and let the people know who you are and what you do, why you do what you do, and then we can go from there.
All right. Well, I am Erica Lynn. I am a motivational speaker, a transformational coach. I also have a podcast, and I am the author of the 7 Techniques of Healing. The full title of the book is 7 Techniques of Healing, How I Overcame Abuse to Live My Authentic Life. You see, in order for me to reach my point of healing, I had to go through a lot of things, and for me, it started at an early age. When I was a little girl, my mom and my dad, they would like argue all the time. And he would move out of the house and come back, move out of the house. So the one particular day I came home from school and he was gone. And this time he wasn't coming back. And so I sat in the window most days waiting on him to pull up to see if he was going to come. I called like hoping he was going to come. And this time he wasn't coming back. Their marriage was over for sure. So what happened as a result of that, it really devastated me. I was always looking for love that a father is supposed to give his daughter. Take you out on your first date, show you how a man is supposed to treat you, pull your chair out, say, hey, this is what a guy is supposed to do, open your car door, help you put your coat on, all those little details that we learn from our fathers, showing us how we are appreciated, especially when our fathers are saying, I love you, Erica, I love you, Leah. And so when the first guy says, oh, you're pretty and I love you, you don't just fall for the okie doke because you understand what real love is.
Oh, yes.
So in result of that, I was in pursuit of that love. I wanted to know, what does that love feel like? And so I'm gravitating to different people. Anybody who was nice to me or showed me some type of kindness, I was like, okay, is this it? I was always questioning it. So we had a neighbor that lived down the street from us. And my mom would say, go and wash his dishes. He'll give you a couple dollars. Like, I'm 13 by this time. He'll give you a couple of bucks. You can go to the store, do whatever. So one particular day, she asked me to have him take me to the store for her because she needed potatoes and some other things for dinner. So I did, and he drove me to the grocery store. And I remember on the way back, I went to get in the back seat. And he says, no, you can ride up front with me. I was like, no, I want to ride in the back. So I end up in the front seat, and I remember sitting very close to the passenger door. And he goes, well, why are you sitting so far? I said, because I want to look out the window. He says, no, that's too far. So he reached over and he gently grabbed me and pulled me close to him. Now, back then at 13, you remember the cars, they didn't have a middle console. So it was just one long front seat. But I just remember sitting in the car, bracing my body like a armor, a fortress, like nobody can break through this. Well, I was 13. I wasn't strong enough. And he just began to touch me and doing things that he shouldn't have done to a 13-year-old girl. So when I got home, I never said anything. I gave my mom the food and I started running away. That was my point of running away. I started, disappearing a lot. I started drinking. I started smoking. I started being promiscuous, just hanging with the wrong crowds. I just realized all my life I just ran. At 17, I became a stripper. Things didn't go right. I just ran. I met my children's father at 17. We had our first child, had 3 beautiful children together, but the whole 10 years of that marriage was very verbally abusive. We had, physical abuse. It was just really a toxic relationship. So now I'm going from relationship to relationship, carrying that same hurt and pain. And if this don't work out, I run to the next. And so finally, at age 35, I went back to college. When I went to college, I said, when I graduate from college, then I'm going to finally have that lifestyle I want. I'm going to have that dream job paying me more than $10 an hour. Like, I'm just going to say I made it. Well, after I graduated from college, I hit rock bottom. I was suicidal. I just felt like giving it all up. I just couldn't go anymore. So what happened was, all of these years, I never healed the brokenness. I never helped to talk to the broken little girl. I never fixed the issues that was going on inside of me. All I did was just ran. And then finally my body just gave out of energy and it just collapsed. And it said, you can't go no more. I was forced to deal with the shame, the guilt, the pain, the hurt, everything that was centered inside of me. And so that is how we got to where we are today, because the broken little girl had to heal to grow up to be a whole healed woman.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That is a powerful story. Um, I just love the way you had put everything, and like you were running and you're running. You just didn't know how to heal. You didn't know how to work things out. And, so many people who have gone through those abuses, those kind of abuses, they normally don't know who to run to. They normally even don't know how to speak. Some of them is because even there is a threat on their heads about if they speak out. And here you are, you coming from a broken family, and you trying to support your mom so that she can also support you. You are helping her to do things, and then you land into a wrong place. Probably it didn't seem wrong at that time, but then the aftermath of the episodes of the things that started happening caused even more trouble in your life that you just didn't understand why, and you are running. Tell us how it felt in this moment where you just falling into wrong relationship, wrong friendship, wrong surrounding. How did it feel? Like, was it something that you felt if you do that, it would bring some satisfaction to you? It will bring some sort of healing? And did you have anybody at all within your surrounding, maybe relatives or closest friend, that you could talk about, or just even open up 1 or 2 things about the mishaps that were going on in your life?
Yes. So to answer your first question, I got into a series of bad relationships. They might start out well, but then they always end up to not be so well. So what I mean by that is, when you're a broken woman and you are carrying like this hurt and pain with you, you're carrying it into a new relationship. So if he yells at you, you're automatically going to flinch up because you think he's going to abuse you. And that might not be the way he is, but it's like you're teaching somebody how to treat you. You're giving someone permission that it's okay. So if he yells at you and you don't yell back, then you saying it's okay for you to treat me like that, because that's what you're giving off to him, instead of standing up for yourself. Like if you stand up for yourself, he's gonna say, oh, I can't pull that mess on her. She gonna bust me upside my head with a frying pan. You know what I mean? And so I had got into a pattern where I wouldn't fight back. I was just, my self-esteem was so low, I wouldn't stand up for myself. So all the relationships weren't physical, but mentally, abuse. It's mental abuse sometimes is just as bad as anything else you can experience in your life, because if a person tells you 10 times you're never going to be anything, you're stupid, you're dumb, who's going to want a single mom with 3 kids, oh, you're just washed up, then you begin to feel that and you believe that. So now you begin to lower your standards. So that if you look in the mirror and you're all dressed up, you're a beautiful woman on the outside, but on the inside you feel so ugly. So instead of going after that king, then you're going to go after somebody who will accept you because you have flaws. So you're going to dumb down, even if he's less educated than you and all these different things that that's not the type of man that you want. You accept it because you feel that there's so many things that's wrong with you, that you don't deserve a man that's on the top of his game. You deserve anybody who would accept, just anybody that'll show me love and give me attention. And the answer to your second question is, I had a huge support system. I have my sisters, my mom, my friends. They've always walked with me. And I always say that even though I went through 25 plus years of hurt and pain, if it was not for my support system pouring into me, loving me, picking me back up time after time, things would have been a lot worse than what they were. I said that God had people protecting me all these years, and I didn't even know that they were protecting me. I had no idea what the purpose and the calling on my life was. My mother's girlfriend always would say, Martha, there's a light around her. Even when I was a little girl, when she discovered her power and her light, she's going to be unstoppable. And I'd be like, I don't want to hear that. I'm gone. There's no light. And so I would just do things like, I want to blend in with the kids. Let me go smoke some weed. Let me go party. Let me not do my hair. You know what I mean? I wanted to just be like normal people, because I felt like if I blend in with everybody, then they would accept me. So it's hard when you have a calling on your life. You fight even harder to go against that calling. Does that make sense to you?
Oh yes, of course it does. I mean, and it is because you've been so hard so many times that you don't even know if there is anything good that can happen to you, right?
Yes.
And then tell us, how did you come to the seven techniques of healing? What point did you realize that there is something that you can use as a tool? And before that, just walk us through what really happened after you went for your education. You finished your education at your 30s, and it's an achievement where everybody said, yes, I made it, and everybody can see I have done it. But then you just find yourself hitting the rock bottom. What really triggered that?
Well, what triggered is, so once I graduated, I land my dream job, right? So I'm working at my dream job, and I cried every single day for 1 year. And this is the honest to God truth. I would go to work in my cubicle, turn my back to all my coworkers, and I would cry from 8 in the morning to 11 o'clock every single day. My coworkers knew, don't even really bother me. And then at 11 o'clock, I come up like, hey, and so that was like a form of depression. I worked a second job at the hospital in the evenings. And then I did some hustling on the side. So I was always go. And I made just enough money to pay the bills. Nothing extra. Some days I didn't even meet ends meet. And I'm like, well,
Wow.
dang, I did all this schooling, got my dream job. I'm working at the hospital. Like you would think people, you know, when you tell people you work at the hospital, they think you got money falling out your
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
and so I was going to Taiwan. My daughter lived in Taiwan. She had got a scholarship for college. And so I was
Mhm.
going to visit her in Taiwan. So I was working even harder to save up my money. I had took out loans. I did all kind of stuff just to make sure the bills were covered here, just so I can have a few dollars to spend when I went to Taiwan. Well,
Mm,
all of the work had dried up at the hospital in the department I was in. So, because I was contingent, so there was nothing for me to do, and that was
mm,
my spending money. Like my plan that I had, you know, put together. Let me work during the day, pay the bills, work at the hospital to have money to spend. Then I took this loan out to make ends meet, and
mm,
so that didn't happen. So I found myself now coming home, sitting in a house with brand new furniture that I never sat in before because I'm always on the go. So
wow.
by the first day, I'm watching cable. The second day, I'm watching cable, but now I'm in there like this, watching TV.
Mm,
So now the third day, I'm in there watching TV. Something come on the TV, and now I'm crying. Anything just, I like the triggers just started. Everything just started triggering and triggering and triggering to the point where now I'm isolating myself from everybody, my family, my friends. Nobody even know that I'm in the house, just like going through this phase. And let me tell
mm,
you how God works. A friend of mine called and he says, "Hey, I ain't seen you in a long time. I'm in town. Can I come and kick it with you?" I was like, "Sure." So he came over for a minute and I tried to like fake the best way I can, put on the best
mm,
persona that I can. And he's not a person that's gonna be like pushy, but he just notices stuff, but he might not say anything to you right then. And it was
mm,
that phone call that we had days after he had left, to the tears just I couldn't even hold it back from him anymore. I just kept crying and crying and crying. And so what was happening was all of my guilt, all of my
mm,
shame, all of my
mm,
secrets, all of the
mm.
things that I did that nobody even knew that I did, all of it just
Wow.
began to eat at me so bad that I didn't know how to just face life. And so one of the things that helped me, he just started mentioning things. I know somebody, they went through this. I know somebody that went through that. So about 2 days of it, I finally said, well, maybe I can trust him enough. And I just opened up and I shared with him my deepest secret. And his
Mm,
response to me was, "Did that kill you?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, suck it up." And so he just started cracking jokes. And that began to take the weight off of all of these things that I've been holding on. So from
mm,
there, we began talking and opening up, and I began learning. That's when I started learning the techniques of healing, of
mm,
education, and taking action, and then taking that leap, and then inspiring myself and inspiring others, and then growth. And so that is what the 7 techniques is. It's like the first thing that you have to do is you have to heal.
mhm,
And
mhm,
once you heal, that's going to be the hardest part, first of all, is to heal. But you have to heal. You got to begin to peel back the layers. You got to begin to identify what your root cause is. So if you went down my story that I told you, you could say, well, she's hurt because the man abused her. She's hurt because she
mm,
got into relationships. She's hurt because what happened when she was a stripper. She's hurt because
mm,
of what the neighbor did. But once you
mm.
dug deep down, then you realize a lot of it started when my father left. But that is how I was able to identify what my root cause is. Somebody else's root, everybody's root cause is something different. But in order for
Mm,
us to get you to that point, to figure out what is really hurting you, you got to be willing to open up. You got to be willing to let me dig and ask you questions. And you got to be
mm,
transparent, and you got to be open, and you got to be willing to do the work that's required. Because when you're going
mm.
through that healing process, you're going to feel like giving up. You're going to feel like, oh my God, I just want to throw in the towel. I can't do this no more. Anything in life that's worth having is going to be
Yes.
hard. It's not going to be
Mm,
easy to achieve.
mm. Wow, wow. Awesome, awesome. Oh my goodness, that is already you have given us a little bit of the book itself, what the book is all about. And I'm, I've just, I was just like putting those points down so that people can see, what exactly, the book is all about and why the book, and for us to, people go through a lot, but the most important thing, and it's so good that you said it, it's to open up. You've got to come to that point where you have to open up. You have to speak. You have to say, I want to heal. And you really have to want it, that you begin to open up, you begin to peel out the root causes of your pain, of your rock bottom, of your depression, however we want to call it. But you have to be able to pull all those root causes, because if you don't identify them, then you will not be able to heal well. And you will be carrying a lot of those things, even to the relationships, or to your job, or to everything. Just like you said, you got your dream job, but you cried from January to December every day. You just go, you turn your back. I cannot even begin to imagine how it felt. You enter into the office and you just turn your back and you're crying the whole time. And didn't you ask yourself the whole time, like, why am I crying and I have the best of the job? And yes, you're thinking about, you were like paycheck to paycheck. And sometimes you are not even able to meet that, and you are also having the side hustles. But were you able to identify some things in those moments from that January to December, when you were entering the office and you are crying out yourself? And were you able to ask yourself some questions about you? And what kind of questions were those?
Why did I feel that I have to appear to have it all together? Why do I have to hold on to so much pressure and so much weight? Why do I have to carry everyone else's pressure and weight? Like, is it okay to just be me? Like, because I stopped being me. I stopped being Erica. I stopped being the person that you see here. I stopped being the one that cracked the jokes and have everybody laughing. Like, where did she go? I began to question, who am I? And so in those questions, I just didn't understand who I was anymore. And so there was a point where my father, around that time, my father, like maybe probably about a year after that, he came back into my life because he had his first heart attack and stroke. So that went on for like a 3-year series of his health deteriorating. So, but for the next 3 years, I began spending as much time with him as I could. Driving up on the highway, going to see him whenever I can, just loving on him, pouring into him, just like him teaching me things. Because by this time I had gotten married twice. And my second husband, we didn't even stay married for like 8 months, okay? Wow. And the day that my father had his first heart attack, I had just put my second husband out of the house like 2 days prior, right? And then his wife, my dad's wife, called and said, your dad's in the hospital. And so the hospital was in the center from where my ex-husband was and where I was, because it's like 2 hours apart. So I called him, like, my dad's in the hospital. Can you please meet me there? So he met me at the hospital, and we put on this fake persona that we was having this lovely marriage and things was great. And my dad was like, Erica, I'm happy that you finally found love, and so on and so forth. Do you know, 2 days later, I went back to that hospital and I said, Dad, are you okay? Like, if I tell you something real deep, you're not going to die on me right now, are you? And he was like, no. And I said, I want a divorce. And he was like, what? I said, I can't stand this fool. He did so-and-so to me. And he said, well, Erica, y'all was just here 2 days ago and you appeared to be happy. I said, that was fake, Daddy. I really put him out the house. I said, I want a divorce. He said, well, what's holding you? I said, I got the divorce papers right here, but I don't want to bring shame on you. I don't want to, like, what is it like to be divorced 2 times? Like, that makes me feel like a failure. Well, my daddy got finished pouring into me and loving on me and give me those things that I looked for when I was a little girl. He gave them to me at the age that I was. I signed them, got doggone divorce papers. Oh, I mean, I just began to feel free because he started teaching me things that I've always wanted to learn from him. You know, he always teach you how to be a woman of your word, how to have confidence, how to walk in it, how to own it. And then everybody always had an issue with my grammar. So I'm a lot better now, but I spoke a broken English because I wanted to fit in with my peers. I didn't want to fit in with quote unquote society. And so he would always correct me. And I was just like, no, I want to speak the way I want to speak, you know. But after that point of going through that with him, I ended up going to a new church and I met a young Black pastor. And this young Black pastor, he began speaking life into me. When I met him, I said, I've been crying every day for a year. I said, you want to know something about me? He said, yeah. I said, I cried every day for a year. He said, do you know why? I said, no. So he gave me some scriptures. He prayed with me. He gave me his cell phone number. And he just began loving me from a place of God. This was my first time having a relationship with a man that didn't want to have sex with me or didn't even like me like that. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. And I was able to open up with him. I said, I want to be a woman that is respected by all, by men and by women. I said, I don't want to walk into a room and a man just looks at me and go, oh, she's a freak. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be respected in business and in life. I want to be taken serious for once in my life. And I told him, I said, you know what I'm going to do? He said, what? I said, I'm going to take off the makeup, no special hairdos. I'm just going to be completely plain, no nails, no nothing. And he says, okay. He says, but you don't rebuild you. You allow God to rebuild you. And that was the start of my journey, allowing God to rebuild me to be the woman that you see here today.
Awesome. Wow. I love that. Allow God to rebuild you. You don't rebuild yourself. And that is a very important point, especially for a lot of people, because sometimes, we want to fix everything. We want to make it right. We want it to look perfect. We want to appear like everything is fine and doing well. And I have everything, I have everything all together and nothing is wrong with me. And because you trying, working day and night just to put a picture, to make people think everything is fine. You become a people pleaser rather than understanding, who am I? What is my identity? What am I doing? Am I in my purpose? Am I in my calling? Or am I fulfilling somebody else's dream? What is my dream? And, it's just amazing how 2 days before you put your second husband out of the door, you are like, your father had a different perspective, a different picture about you. And you can imagine if you'd have continued that way, you wouldn't even have felt like, I really need to get out, because it is just not serving me. It is just taking me deeper and deeper and deeper into the agony that I am in. Yeah. And just when you realize, actually, I can talk to this guy and he can really help me. He can give me that support. He can give me that advice that I never had all along. And it could save me from one day to the next. And here you are walking with your divorce papers, but everybody thinks everything is fine, awesome. And, we're just going to take a short break. And when we come back, Erica is going to tell us more about her book. She's going to tell us about the first 5 techniques that stand out for her, that she powerfully said, this you can begin to implement as a beginner or as somebody who is really completely rock bottom, like the way she was, and you can implement one at a time. And you can see changes happening in your life. So don't go away. We are taking a short break and we will be back just in a minute. Hello, welcome back. This is the show, Who Are You? And I'm your host, Dr. Leah. And our guest today is Erica Lynn, motivational speaker and coach. She has a book that she wrote when she was in her lowest point of life. She has techniques that she has in that book. The book is called 7 Techniques of Healing. And she is going to talk to us a little bit more about her book and how she began to write this book. Because a lot of things happened in her life which already triggered the writing of the book, which already triggered a lot of things that began in her life. But then she realized she can write those techniques that she used for herself to jumpstart afresh her life. Remember, she told us she did her diploma when she was in her 30s, but still it didn't give her satisfaction. So just make sure you have a pen, you have a paper, take notes, because at one point of time, in whatever situation you are, I'm very sure that these techniques will be very valuable to us, because to me they will, and I will be having the recording and I will be watching these videos all the time to remind myself of the things, because we find ourselves at rock bottom in one way or another. It might be not the relationship, it might be your work, it might be both, it might be wherever things that is surrounding you, but still you need something that can you can work with, something that can give you practical, practical practices that you can implement into your life one step at a time. Definitely not every shoe fits all, but there is always one thing that you can take home and say, this I will put in my life, and this I will work hard until I see changes. And remember, she told us before we went for break the advice that her father gave her when she decided that she's going to remove everything, makeup, everything. She's just going to be Erica Lynn as she was born, naked as she was, and realize that she doesn't need to make herself. She needs to allow God to make her. So, Erica, talk to us how you began your book. How long did it take you to write the book? How did it feel when you completed the book?
Well, it took me about 3 months to write the book.
Ah,
And the biggest challenge about the 7 techniques of healing is that I never passed English class. So when I was in high school, I dropped out of high school when I was 16. And in America, you can get a GED. That's a general education degree, which is kind of like it's like almost like a certification, but it's the same as a diploma, but not really, you know.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And so that opens up the door and allow you to go to college, because in America you can't go to college without a GED or a high school diploma.
mm-hmm,
So when I said my grammar was bad, my grammar was bad. Writing, you asked me to write a paragraph, I would totally hyperventilate. Like I need to go somewhere and go to sleep, because that's just how I felt about writing. But when I began to go through my healing process and I seen how much work I had to put in, how much work that was poured into me from others, how much I've learned, I said, oh, if this can work for me, just imagine how many other people can benefit from understanding
yes,
the steps of healing. Just imagine how many people like, do you know someone that just sits in their car and they stare out the window and they just start crying? They don't know why they're crying. They just
yes,
start wondering, like, what is the purpose of my life? Or you have another person who looks in the mirror, right? They got a great job, wonderful family, nice husband, nice car. And you look in the mirror and you go, I don't feel good. I don't feel as if I'm enough. Am I enough? You begin questioning your whole existence. And in order to stop thinking and feeling that way, that just means that something inside of you is broken. You know, your
yes,
core, your foundation. See, your stomach is your core and your foundation of your body. If you don't exercise and strengthen your core, then you begin to have back problems, other kind of problems going on in your body. So that's the same way of healing. Healing your mind, your subconscious, that's your core. When you heal your core, then you can go on and take on anything in life. You can begin to go to school, have a husband, get a job, add more bills on, because you are mentally stable and you are equipped with the tools that you can handle whatever else comes your way. And so when I wrote the book, not only did I say, because first of all, my memory was bad, okay? And I always say that my memory get bad because I used to smoke a lot of weed when I was growing up. I don't know, right? The judge is out on that, the jury is out on that. But um I don't do any of that anymore, but it had lasting effects on me.
oh
So I
yes,
said, well, how can I retain the information? How can I remember my speeches? How can I remember what I wrote? So I designed the book and pretty much everything that I do as an acronym. So the word healing is spelled Healing. So that's how I did the book. H stands for heal. E is educate. A is action. L is leap. I is inspire. N is need. And G is grow. And so if you break down what each one of them mean, then you begin to be able to move forward. And in the book, there's lines in the book that you can write in, because I'm going to ask very intrusive questions in the book. And if you're really serious about your healing and moving forward, then you have to be truthful with yourself. Because once you get this book and take this book home, I'm not at home with you. So you can lie to yourself, or you can tell yourself the truth that, yeah, I need some help, or this is an area where I'm weak in, or yeah, I'm broken here. And so you go through that healing phase. I teach you a technique in here that helps you that when stuff is tough or it's rough and you just like feel like giving up. I teach you like an exercise that you can do that can help you deal with it. And so what you don't realize is once you learn this technique, then as you go through the book and as you go through life and stuff start coming at you, then you're always going to remember that technique and you're going to utilize it so that it makes life not so harsh. You're able to like lock her up, like, whoa, back up. Let me deal with the way I want to deal with you, not the way you want to deal with me. And so that's in the first chapter, heal. So the first chapter is heal, which is the center of everything, which is your core. You got to fix it all. The next chapter is educate. So you got to begin to educate yourself on what do you need. Do you need therapy? See, I'm not a licensed therapist. Even though I own what I know, I stand up in my authority, but I don't want to go back to school to become a therapist. So, but if you need a therapist, someone who can prescribe you a prescription medication, then hey, then that's what you need to do. If you need a counselor, if you need a coach, if you need 5 coaches, do you guys know I have 5 coaches? And that's the honest to God truth to this day. And what started that was, I don't know if you know Lisa Nichols. I'm a big fan of Lisa Nichols. Lisa Nichols had went on the Oprah Winfrey show one day, and Oprah says to Lisa, how many coaches do you have? Lisa says 2. And she says, Oprah, how many coaches do you have? And Oprah says, I have 5. So Lisa said after the show was over, she got on the phone and hired her 3 more coaches. So back then I was thinking, what kind of coaches? But then you begin to understand in the education phase, you'll understand what you need a coach for. So I have a meal prep coach. She meal preps all my food. When I go to the grocery store, she's on the phone like, read the back of the package. No, you can't put it back. So I'm like, whoa, I'll put it back on the shelf because I can't eat that. I actually have a trainer. I also have my own coach. I have a public coach. I just got a team of people. But you have to have a team to help you get to where you want to go. Because if you could do it by yourself, you would be healed by now, right? You wouldn't be sitting here listening to our show because you would have all the answers and it all figured out. But everybody needs somebody. And so you just have to begin to educate yourself to find out who you need or what you need. And so that's the education phase. Next is take action. What good is it to heal and learn all of the stuff that you want to learn if you're not going to do anything about it? Like that's just like going to school, getting 10 degrees, and then you decide to go be a horse trainer. Like, you know what I'm saying? So take action on the things that you learn. Take action on the things that you love. Take action on loving yourself. Now, the next chapter is leap. Sometimes you got to take a leap of faith because it's going to be scary and you don't know if this is what you should be doing. You don't know if this is the right direction. You don't know, should I spend this money to hire Erica Lynn? Like, it can be scary because I'm not cheap. But if you take that leap and you trust in yourself and you trust in God, He's not going to lead you in the wrong direction. When you take that leap, then you begin to change your mindset. You begin to think of things differently. So you no longer say, I'm broke. I'm financially challenged. You say, well, I'm just overcoming a shortfall today. I'll be all right. You just the way you speak things out of your mouth begins to change. So in other words, when you looking at your abuser, you're no longer in that place of, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that I allowed that fool to do that to me all these years ago. Man, let him come at me now. You know what I mean? And when you change your mindset, you change the way that you see things, you change the way that you bring positivity into your life. And so that's why the leap carries you over into the inspiration chapter. It's inspired because when you aspire to do something, then you telling yourself, I can do this. I am healed. I am wonderful. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I can do whatever it is that I set my mind to. I believe in the laws of reciprocity. What you put out in the atmosphere, it comes back to you. So when you put out good things are coming back to you. So when you put out, I am healed, I am not going to let this affect me anymore. I am not going to accept this. I am going for the gusto. And then those doors are going to begin to open up for you. You're just going to be like, wow. And when you look back, it's like, I went through that, but look at me now. So then the next chapter is need. So we knew what you needed in the beginning from the education phase, but now your needs have changed because you are growing to be a different person. You are standing in authority as to where you are at that point. So what do you need to help move you forward? Are you ready to open up that business? Are you saying, Erica, can you help me get the foundation so I can open up my new hair salon, open up my new coaching business so I can do whatever it is? What do you need at that point? And we will help you get what you need at that point. And so the last chapter in the book is growth. Look how far you come. You come to me as a broken individual. You was hurt, you was in pain, and everything just kind of seems to pull you down. And when you look back, you just looking back just to glance at, oh, I'm so glad I'm not there no more. Look at me now. But the best part about growth is each one must teach one. So everything that you have learned, or the things that you have learned, it is your God-given responsibility to reach out and help someone, because I promise you, somebody is going to come up to you and they're going to be in a broken space and they're going to begin to share their story, and you're going to go, dang, I just came from that. I just dealt with that. And you're gonna reach out to them with kid gloves and say, hey, I can help you, or I can refer you to someone that can help you. And that is the 7 techniques of healing.
Awesome. I love just what you said. As you grow, each one must teach one. You're changing one life at a time. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter how, but because of the growth that you have received, the growth, looking back and saying, wow, look at how far I have come. It might not be that big mountain, but still you have come from somewhere. You've overcome a lot of obstacles. And I just love, just how the healing process means, all those chapters, what they take you through, and how it helps you also to self identification, how you begin to put that leap of faith out there. You're taking action, you're getting education. It's awesome. And then you end up with each one must teach one. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Those are wonderful techniques that people can take home. People can begin to, implement. They can get your book, get the 7 techniques of healing book, because you are going to learn even just more than what Erica has just given us here today. So, Erica, before we even come to a close, tell us, what is your legacy? You are now a coach, you're a motivational speaker, you've written the book. What is your legacy?
Well, my legacy is that I want women. Now, I pour into everybody, but I want women to really look inside yourself and know that you can become anything that you want to become. You can do anything that you want to do. So don't accept no for an answer. So my
Mm,
legacy is that I want you to focus on you.
mm,
Don't let life get you down to the point
mm,
where you stop thinking about you. It
mm,
is okay to be a little bit selfish and think about you, especially now in the times that we're in with the pandemic. You got to be the
mm,
mother, the father,
mm,
the wife, the school teacher, and you still have to do dinner. And so, what happens to you at the end of the day? There's no pieces of you left, but I want you to take some time. I
mm,
had to take the time to love me and
mm,
allow God to put me back together. And that
mm,
is what I want you to do. Always take time out for you. Even if you just go get your nails done this week or go get a pedicure, you
mm,
know, do something to focus on you. And
mm.
don't be afraid to open your mouth and ask for help. Because if
Yeah.
I had not opened my mouth, then you guys would not be here with me today. So
Awesome.
please open up and ask for
Mm.
help.
Awesome. Wow. Beautiful. Taking care of you, knowing that you have also to take time and focus on you. It's okay to be selfish because you're thinking about you. And, like Erica has just reminded us, this year we have seen that you are everything. You are a mother, you are a wife, you're a teacher, you're a housekeeper, you're a breadwinner, you're everything. And if you don't take time to think about you and to understand that if you're not sober, if you're not in the right state of mind, if you're not in the right health state, you will not be able to facilitate nothing. You will just go down and go down. And before you go down, you have to remember that you also are a person. You are an individual. You are loved, and you have to begin to love yourself. So thank you so much, Erica. Thank you so much for showing up to this show. Who are you? Please tell us how people can get to work with you and how they can get to purchase your book.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on your show. You guys can go to my website, ericalynnspeaks.com. It's ERICALYNNSPEAKS.com. And if you go to the Work With Me page, you will see 3 different programs. You got a free consultation. If you say, Erica, I don't know which one of your program that I need to be in. So you can sign up for a free consultation and I'll walk with you, talk with you, and show you, guide you in the right direction. If you say that, Erica, I just want to work with you one-on-one, then you can get into my Let Your Light Shine program, because so many of you are hiding your light, hiding who you really are. And I want to bring all that light out so that you guys shine. And when you walk down the street, they're like, dang, I want some of that. Give me some of that. So, I've been to Erica Lynn's Let Your Light Shine program.
Yeah, yeah.
One of my favorite programs that is out now is the One Step Beyond You signature program. If
Mm,
you are a person that you want to be around other like-minded individuals, you want to be part of a community, you want to learn things and see what others are saying, I have the One Step Beyond You program. In the program, you have the 7 Techniques of Healing online course. I turned it into a whole course. So you get the book, the course. You get to be part of the members forums. It's worksheets, it's planners, guides, and just a whole list of things. And I'll be bringing professionals inside of the forum. And so when we do the live bi-weekly Q&As, you'll get an opportunity to chat live with me and other professionals inside of the forum. And
mm.
just for you guys, that program is on special, but don't tell nobody. It's $69.99 a month, okay? So I made it affordable for you guys just because Leah invited me here on her platform. So I want you guys to benefit from the One Step Beyond You members program. And the book is on Amazon, but there's also a link on Erica Lynn Work With Me page. And lastly, I did a whole motivational album, Leah. A whole
Wow.
album. It's so many positive pieces on there. We talk about the daddy. That's the introduction to Erica Lynn, and I share a glimpse of my life through a motivational piece. But there's a Let Your Light Shine piece in there, and so the listeners, the viewers, they can hear and see themselves in these
Mm.
pieces. And everybody, men, women, no matter who you are, I want you guys to go to Spotify, Apple, wherever, because it's on 150 platforms, and type in Erica Lynn, Never Give Up. Go to the Motivating into Your Purpose piece. I'm giving you 8 steps of identifying and motivating and walking into your purpose.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you very much, Erica Lynn. Thank you so much for the time that you took. Thank you all our viewers who have been watching with us. We have a lot of people. We have Grace Martin watching from Kenya. We have Betha Ojor also from Kenya, powerful. We have John Nyagundi also watching from Kenya, says amazing biography. What an awesome soul healer. So thank you so much all who have been watching with us. Everybody will be watching a replay. We'd love to know what really stood out for you in this show and what you learn or what you want to learn more. Tomorrow we are back again at the same time, same place, and we have our guests also who will be coming to talk to us how to fully maximize in our small businesses. So don't forget to show up tomorrow, same place, same time, to learn how you can maximize your small business and grow it to be a business that you have dreamt of when you started it off. So thank you so much, Erica. And until tomorrow, we would say goodbye and stay blessed.